Okay, let's try again, guys. I'm back. I'm back, guys. Technology. That's the only thing about these lives. We have to rely on technology. So, can you hear me now? Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming back, everybody. If you can hear me, give me a high five again, please. Oh, you can? Okay, good. Thanks, Marianne. That's technology, guys. You know, when you rely on technology, that's what happens. Or maybe my phone is getting old. I have an iPhone 7 and I've refused to replace it, but I think I'm going to get the 12, which is coming out soon. I've been, I wanted to use it to the last to make sure I got every single use out of my iPhone 7. Maybe it's getting old because sometimes it just freezes on me. Okay, well, I hope you're enjoying the conversation. I'm enjoying it. I always love hearing stories about women and their career and how they've, started different businesses and how they're thriving. You guys know that's my hope and my passion for every woman, that every woman can just step out and be fabulous and be excellent and do so well with their goals. That's what Marianne is laughing at me and my iPhone 7. Yes, I wanted to use every drop out of it. People have been making fun of me, everybody at home, that I should change my phone. But I finally decided I'll get the 12. So I'm waiting patiently. So Elfonnie, I'm back. Where are you? You can request. Yes, so I'm always so happy when I hear stories of women that are doing well, that are shining, that are excelling in their careers. There's nothing that makes me happier than that. So everybody on here, I want the same for you. What Elfonnie is doing, I want everybody to just excel and do well. You didn't request, so I didn't. Elfonnie, I didn't see it. Can you request again, please? Oh my gosh, you did. I was talking too much. Oh my goodness, you did request. I just was getting into my. Okay. Well, it's funny. Once I get into the mode of talking, I just keep going. I didn't even see your request. I'm so sorry. So now let me ask you the $1,000,000 question, though. How long do you want to spend on this? Since we restarted, I don't want to keep you beyond because I know you're a busy woman. So tell me how much time you have.
Well, how much time have we used up so far? Let's see.
Well, let's say we use 25 minutes because it's now 2:30 and we kind of, did all the, so let's just say we did. So let's end. So you want to use exactly an hour, right? Let's end at 5 past.
Okay, we can do it. We can do an hour, 10 minutes. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So we can end at like 5 past, 10 past. Okay. Yeah. So what were we saying? So I was just telling everybody how it makes me so happy to see women doing what you're doing. There's nothing that makes me happier than that when, I just see women just flourishing, and it's hard work.
Yeah,
it's not, it's hard work, but if it's hard work that you enjoy, there's a difference.
It is hard work.
There's hard work and then there's hard work. Hard work and going to work and not loving your job and just dragging, and that's terrible hard work. But hard work where you know that you're doing something that people love and it's changing their lives, that's good hard work. So I think you were still talking about changing careers. I was putting down some points. The last point I remember is that you have to be financially, emotionally, spiritually prepared to switch careers.
Yes.
So if you can continue from there. Mm-hmm.
So like I was saying, you have to be financially, emotionally, and psychologically prepared to switch careers because, like with everything else, any switch, any change will come with adjustment issues. I don't want to say adjustment disorders, right? Because not everybody has a disorder. But yes, you sometimes would feel, you question your moves and all of that. So you have to be prepared for it. So I'd say for anyone who wants to make a switch into, say, business from being a 9-to-5 worker, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a 9-to-5 worker, because I'll tell you that, running your own business you'll work the hardest you've ever worked, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing it because you want to work less, totally not worth it, right? And I saw a comment that Onyinda made here, and she said, "When you do what you love, you feel fulfilled." And I think that's exactly the case with me because I'm naturally a workaholic, right? And I don't feel like I'm working. Sometimes I have to be reminded to eat. And this is every single day. You know, it's a bad habit, but because I love what I do, you know, even eating is, you know, which I have to, you know, be conscious about doing. But I'm trying to say that when it's something that you love, it comes so easily, it comes so naturally. It's just like you're living. You're just living, doing the work, right? And I remember something that you shared maybe a few days back. I can't remember where I saw it because I see things everywhere. But you had said something about turning your negatives or your weaknesses into your strengths or using it to build yourself up. And I think for me, that's one thing that I have also done, because I think as a child, I was quite a hyper child. I was actually the opposite of, not the opposite, but I was very different from how I am now. I was everywhere. I was dancing, drama, everywhere, schoolwork. I wanted to do it all, and I enjoyed doing it all. So, and I turned that hyperactivity into creativity and focus. So now what I do is I hyper focus on whatever I'm working on, and that helps me, succeed or focus and be able to deliver on my projects or my brands. So I think that's another way to turn your negativity or your weaknesses into a strength, like Dr. Iyabo always says. So back to switching careers. So I was saying, so if you want to go into business, let's say you're a 9-to-5 worker, you start out by, first of all, discovering what you're passionate about. You don't go sell hair because everybody's selling hair, right? The funny thing is that business is very competitive. A lot of industries, especially the in-demand industries, are very competitive. So you're not going to make it overnight, right? You're not going to make it just because everyone else is doing it or because they're telling you that they're doing so well or they're making millions. A lot of times you hear only half the story. You only see the beautiful and the fancy stuff, but people won't tell you, or they won't share how much work, how much resources, how much money goes into making that $1 million sale, right? So don't do it because everyone is doing it. Find something that you're passionate about, something that you would even do for free. I think it's even best when you discover what your gift is to the world, and then you use that to serve that purpose. So in a way, you're marrying your passion with a need and money. And even if it's not a need, it could be a want. For instance, Instagram is not a need. We can all survive without Instagram, but it's something we all want, we all like, right? So you can find a way to marry your passion with something people will want, with something that could be in demand, even if it's not in demand at the moment, right? And then find a way to make money from it, right?
Yes.
So again, don't do something because everyone is doing it. Start out as a hobby. When I say hobby, because I say that as in you don't have to be dreaming that, oh, because so and so made $1 million or said she made $1 million within a year or within 6 months, that's going to happen for you. If you're going with that mindset, you could end up very disappointed and you may not last. So start out with something you're passionate about, something you're good at, and then build up slowly. I mean, if you can do it fast, good luck, but build up slowly, build a good foundation. And, if you're currently working a 9-to-5, you continue with your job, you save up money because you're going to need a lot of it, right? You save up money, and then you can make the leap when the time is right. And you'll know when the time is right because something inside of you and the universe will somehow, and God will tell you that the time is right, right? And then if you are in
Elfonnie, I'm going to have you pause for 1 second there because there's some things.
Sure.
Elfonnie, yeah, pause for 1 second. I just want people, because you're saying
Sure.
a lot of wonderful gems. So please be wise about when you're switching, be wise about the money aspect. I see many people who do this, they don't save up, they don't think about how they're going to survive. Then they leave one job and go on to the next, and then financially they can't survive. It doesn't mean that you have to save a whole lot before you switch. Otherwise, you'll never be able to switch, but you have to be wise about it. and you have to find mentors or coaches like Elfonnie and I who've done this. This is
Yeah,
another problem that people do. They, again, I love all the coaches out there. Everybody has their uniqueness, but be careful about when you're looking for a coach to help you or a mentor or, you know, a guardian, whoever you want to call it, to help you. And you should, we need to talk about this because you have to start coaching about what you're doing. That's another business you can do, Elfonnie, because many women want to do what you're doing, and you can start coaching or doing online courses about it. But ladies, I do want to give you this advice. If you are passionate about switching careers or doing different things or finding many streams of income, be careful to go to people who've actually lived it and they're still living it. Because like Elfonnie said, it's one thing to go to somebody who can fire you up and get you motivated. There are many people who can do that, but people who tell you the truth about it's hard, but keep going. It's hard, don't give up. This is what you're going to. People who've lived it and who are living it. So be
exactly.
careful about, yes, yeah. So I wanted to point that out because the money part does surprise a lot of people because they don't have money, and then the business isn't making money. They can't pay their bills, and then, you know, they just drop everything and they feel disgruntled. Okay. Keep going,
Exactly.
please, Elfonnie.
So I was saying, not everyone has to go into business. So, but if you want to do a career switch that is from one profession to another profession, the same thing applies. You figure out what you're passionate about, other than the current career that you're in, or another field that you'd love to switch into, and slowly start to build your skills. Whether it's taking online courses or in-person courses, you know, whether it's attending seminars in that field, because you want to make sure that it's something that you will enjoy, so that you don't keep going from one place to the other. Build
Yes.
your network in that industry, you know, find mentors in that industry, and start to build up your CV or your profile, so that when the time is
Yes.
right and when you're applying to jobs, you can easily, you know, get a job instead of spending months and years trying to switch because you didn't prepare properly. So most important thing in switching careers is preparing for it financially, emotionally, and psychologically. And also for those that are not in business, preparing with the right credentials to get into, you know, the field that you want to move into.
Yes. So having said the thing about credentials, do you have an MBA?
No, I don't.
Okay, because, you know, this is a myth out there for people, and I put it in a lot of my articles and my write-ups, because every people just assume I have an MBA. They don't even ask me that, do you have an MBA? They just come out or they send me a DM and say, where is your MBA from? And I'm like, I don't have an MBA. And they're like, why? How could you have a business that is doing so well and you're doing all these other things and you're so business savvy and you don't have an MBA? And I tell them, you don't need an MBA. Do you know how many people are out there who have MBAs and they're still actually working a 9-to-5 job? MBA doesn't mean that you're equipped to start a business. So do you want to comment on that? Because I want people to stop. No, I don't want to say wasting money on MBAs, because MBAs have their advantage.
Advantages.
They do
Yeah.
have the advantages, but I don't think they have advantages with setting up a small business. I don't think so. But let me
No,
hear your
I
views
don't think
about
you need.
MBA.
Yeah, I don't think, one, I am not anti MBA, and I know you're not, but I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm not.
MBA to okay, I don't think you need an MBA to launch a business, right? It's good if you can get it, but it costs a lot of money. That's the financial part as well. You don't want to invest 50, 60, $100,000 if you're in America to get an MBA with the hope of launching a business, and then God forbid the business doesn't make it. So what was the use of getting the MBA, right?
Yeah.
And now we live in a world where knowledge is in abundance. The only thing stopping you from getting any information and knowledge is yourself, right? You can
Yes.
literally, you know, learn along the way, learn in small snippets from whether it's Coursera and so many other online resources. You can
Yes.
learn, you know, and every business is different, right? So an MBA equips you with the foundation or the basics or the theoretical concepts of business, right? But every business is different. So when if you launch a business and then you see what you're lacking, right? For instance, I'm not a natural marketer. I don't like to sell anything to anybody, right? So that's something that I have had. That's something that I have I have had to learn. And so I
Yes.
take online courses. I learn from people who are, you know, pros at this industry. And then
Yes.
I take that and apply it directly to the part of my business that I need to apply it to. So you can launch a business without an
Yes.
MBA and you can do well with it.
Okay, very good. So we've settled that. That's good. I want to go through the points. And Oyindamola, thank you so much for retyping everything for people. There's a question. Start thinking of this question, Elfonnie. Why I'm going to tell people the points you made on the last question we discussed. But the question was, somebody mentioned that what about your spouse and your partner and your kids? Don't they have to come along with you when you're making this switch and this? So that's your next question. So Elfonnie said that switching careers, being a businesswoman, is not an overnight success. Do what sets your soul on fire. If you're not passionate about it, I say this all the time too, I'm on board with that. What sets your soul on fire is what you're really going to use to live out your purpose. Because if you're not living in your purpose, you're going to hate your job. Make sure
Yes.
you're financially, emotionally, spiritually prepared for this journey, because it's not an overnight success, but you have to enjoy the journey. So if you're only going looking forward to the destination and what you're going to make from it, then don't do it. You have to enjoy the journey there. So which means you have to be spiritually prepared while you're doing it. And then I'll summarize what she said. Like I said, your passion and purpose is what you can turn into your profit. That's, yeah, Elfonnie said this a lot about what sets your soul on fire. Your passion, your purpose is what you're going to set into making money for you and making a profit. So, and then she talked about how you can turn your negative traits into positive traits. When she was young, excessive activity, people thought she was hyperactive, but then now she uses that hyperactive nature to being hyper focused and creative in the ventures she's doing. So there's nothing like a negative trait. I was told from a long time ago that I'm stubborn. My mom always used to wag her finger at me and say, Iyabo, it doesn't have to always be your way. You don't always have to. It's like, why are you so stubborn? You have to listen. But now I use my stubbornness to be stubborn about my goals. So once I pick up something that I want to do, I'm very persistent. I'm very patient too. It's funny, I'm persistent and patient. I'm going to keep going until I get what I want to get. So I use that stubbornness to get it. So these are all points you need to put into consideration and journal about. So Elfonnie, what about our family? What if our spouse doesn't come on board with us about this switch and we want to do it?
So the reason I didn't mention family was because I realized that some people may not be married, you know, and I didn't want it to be as though I was talking to just married people, but
Yeah.
that's very important. And that comes into play when you look at the financial, the emotional, and psychological aspects of making a career switch. So first of all, I think for your spouse, if you're married, or your partner, or, you know, to be on board, it comes from a place of being authentic. Because if you're always authentic about who you are, then your partner would never be too surprised when you're making a switch, or when you're making that decision. It would be something, it would be a situation where he or she says, I saw it coming, or it's the right move for you, right?
Yeah.
Because they know
Yeah.
that you've always had this passion, right? So I'll use myself as an example. When I met my spouse, he knew, you know, that I love fashion, right? He knew that I love culture. So yes, he married an engineer, but he didn't marry an engineer who was like a typical nerdy engineer, right? So
Yeah.
if I had pretended to be who I wasn't, where, oh, I'm just this nerdy girl, and then I suddenly from nowhere said, oh, I want to go into fashion, he's gonna look at me like, who are you and how did we who,
I know.
who are you and how did we meet, you know? But he's
Yes.
always known who I was, right? So I remember like the weekend after I first met my spouse, I told him, oh, I have a fashion show. And he's like, oh, fashion show? Oh, you're just attending? I'm like, I'm covering it, right? So I was true to who I am, or who I was. And he knew that right off the bat,
Yes.
right? So you have to always be authentic with whoever you are, authentic to yourself, authentic to who you're with, and to the world, right? So that nothing comes as a surprise. But then I know that
Yes.
even when you're authentic, sometimes your spouse may still have a little problem with that switch, because naturally human beings don't like change, you know.
Yes.
Naturally we don't like change. Some of us adjust faster to change, but on the average a lot of people don't like change, which is why you have to prepare yourself financially, emotionally, and psychologically. And when you're doing that, you're not just doing it by yourself, you're doing it with your partner and with your children. So I'll use myself again as an example. When I was getting ready to make that career switch, I talked about it with my husband, you know, for a long time. For all the years that we've been together, we've been talking about it, we've been working towards it, we've been saving for it, you know, like maybe.
Yes.
And I'll be very honest and transparent. My husband would want to buy me a Chanel handbag. I'm like, babe, that's $4,000, that's $5,000. And I love beautiful things. And I have a lot of designer bags, don't get me wrong. But when I think of
Yes.
that money, I'm like, we can save that, right? Because we're working towards a goal. And that alone allows
Good.
me to see just how serious, because he's looking at me like, if this girl can
That's
say no
good.
to this bag, she's really serious about this thing, right? So,
I
that's
like that.
preparing
Yes.
financially for it, right? And not just by denying yourself of things, but in your spending, whether it's cutting down some spending, whether it's just finding other ways to make extra money, right? And if you have a supportive partner, you'll be surprised that, you know, that partner will decide to take on a little more work to support you
Yes.
while you're doing what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And then for your children, if you have children, this is something you also have to take into account with your finances, right? How does this affect how much we can spend on the children, whether it's their education, you know, if they're doing private school and all that. So
Right.
you have your budget, you prepare for it financially, and then, you know, start working towards it. Emotionally, you prepare yourself and you prepare your family. Or, you know, mommy's going to be doing this. You tell the kids, if you have kids, and your spouse, you share it with whenever he's in a good mood, even if it's a guy or if it's a lady, whenever she's in a good mood, you bring it up. Oh, you know, when I start doing this, this is what's going to happen. You find, you know, sweet ways to drop it so that nothing comes as a surprise when you finally make that leap, you know. And, you know,
Yes.
it's never going to be perfect when you make the leap. There will be adjustment issues. Even if it's not on your end, your partner or I mean, the children usually are fine with
Or your
whatever.
children.
Yes, but
Yeah.
usually the kids are more adaptive because kids are just adaptive, right? But the
Yes.
partner,
Yeah.
you know, may not be as quick to adapt. So don't expect that because I communicated, it's going to be all smooth sailing. I don't think that's always the case, right? There'll be a
Yes.
few, you know, hiccups here and there, which is a natural part of life, but it's all about how you handle it and how you communicate. So number one thing with career switch when you're married is communication. You keep the person, you know, carry the person along with whatever you're doing, with whatever plans you're doing, you're making, and you paint the picture with that person inside of it. So you don't say, for instance, oh, when I launch Style Rave, I can't wait to travel all over the world, right?
Yeah.
If that's
work.
your plan. No, because the person is going to look at you like,
so it's only
you know,
for
like,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And naturally they're gonna feel not resentment, but they're gonna start feeling a little out of place, like maybe
Yes.
this shouldn't be happening, and then they could start blocking it. But if you paint it differently and say something like, oh babe, you know, when we build up Style Rave, you know, every now and then maybe we'll just go for a fashion show in Paris. That would be amazing, right? So that's a
Yes.
totally different statement. And then suddenly the person sees themselves in Paris and they're like, shoot, when are we
Whoa,
going,
let's
right?
do this. Yes. Yeah.
So you have to
That
be
is good.
tactical.
You're a
Yeah,
wise
you have to
woman.
be
You're
tactical.
wise.
Thank you. You have to be
Yeah.
tactical. And so that's the
Yeah.
emotional part of it. And then the psychological part of it, you know, it ties into the emotional part of it as well. You know, you just have to prepare and know that things are going to change, you know, and be willing to make sacrifices. For instance, I haven't seen a movie in the past 5 years. I haven't been to a movie theater in the past 5 years. There are a lot of things that I haven't done in 5 years. I had to cut out a lot of TV time, right? so that I
Yes.
spend more of that time doing work instead of taking away family time, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
time that I would usually do other things that are equally as important as building a brand. Because building a brand is not the only important thing in my life, right?
I know there are
So
other things. Yeah.
exactly. So I have to make sacrifices that affect me instead of the entire family, because hey, you have to be willing to be the one to let go of things if you're big, if you're living your dreams, right? So
Yes.
so yeah, those are some of the things to consider.
She's wise, isn't she? You see why she's on my show? So I go seeking out all those wise people. So yeah, there's so much wisdom here. We're meant to be talking about fashion, but now we're talking about marriage and how to communicate well with your husband so he can be, on board with you for with your dreams. For the single people out there, it's beyond the scope of this, but I'm sure Elfonnie agrees. When you're dating, you are even in a better position when you're dating because you're looking for the person who's going to share your dreams. So you better be open, not open, but make your senses acute and make sure that the person you're going to choose to be your partner is somebody that will come along with you with your dreams, and make sure you're also flexible about their dreams as well. So
Yes, very
yeah,
important.
yeah. So because everybody wants to feel valuable, so don't think it's just about you. You have to make sure that you ask them what their dreams are. You see if you can also support them in their dreams. It has to be back and forth. So now,
Exactly.
coming back to fashion, yes. Coming back to fashion, why is it so important for women to dress for success? Because for me, I am all about that. And people have called me vain from since I was in secondary school, as from since I was, really young. But I know I'm vain, but I love being vain. I just love being good and I feeling good and looking good. And I think it has helped me get to where I am today. But women who don't pay attention to their looks, or they don't pay attention, or they pay too much attention, because there's also like the severe end of it, that you can also be too vain and it blocks you. So you don't take care of yourself, or you take care of yourself too much and it blocks you. So what is the importance for dressing for confidence and success?
Whew, maybe the question should be, what is not important for dressing for confidence and success?
Yes. Yes, true.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
everything is important about it. I always say that when you look good, meaning when you dress good, when you look good, you feel good and you perform better.
Yes. Yes.
That's how I feel, and I believe a lot of people, or everyone, can relate to it. On days when I'm just walking around in my pajamas, I can honestly feel my energy at an average level, right? And
Yes.
especially during this season, right? But the days
I was
where
discussing this with somebody the other day. Who was I discussing it with? I was discussing it with somebody over the phone. That if I'm not dressed, it's like my mood is low down there. Once I'm dressed, it's up here.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So when you look good, you feel good. And I was saying, on days when I do dress up, at home now, being that I'm working from home, I feel 100. Sometimes I put on my clothes and I'm like, yes, this is Star Rave. Let's go to work,
Yes.
right? you know, let's go to work. And I feel energized. I feel powerful. So what's not to
Yes.
love about dressing up? Of course, with everything else, there's always the extreme where it becomes the only thing you're focusing on. I think that's when it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
style, I think style, other than, food and water and other things that are quite, necessary to survive, I think style is necessary to thrive. So you have things that are necessary to survive and things that are
Okay.
necessary if you really want to thrive and elevate yourself. And style is one of them. Style for me, I always say, is a form of self-expression, and it's a way to express your growth and your values and your ambitions, right?
Mm.
So who you are now, I mean, I wouldn't want to be dressing how I was dressing 5, 10 years ago, because then it would mean that I haven't grown at all, right? And I also want to dress in a way that reflects how I view myself, how I want to be valued, and how I should be viewed. and also dress in a way that shows my ambitions, right? So I may not be a multi-millionaire right now, but I want to dress like I'm ready for it, right? You dress for the job and
Yes.
or for the bank account, right?
Yes.
Without depleting your resources in a way that is detrimental to your growth, right? So I say dressing for confidence is everything, because style is a way to say who you are without even introducing yourself, without saying a word. And what some people, the anti-style people, may not realize is the fact that people judge you based on how you dress and how you
Yes.
put together your looks, right? So
Yes.
whether you're going for an interview, whether you're
Yes.
simply going to work, or whether you're going on a date, whether you're going to hang out with your girlfriends, the treatment you're receiving, I can tell you for a fact that at least 50% of it is coming from how you look and how you
Yes.
dress. When you
Yes.
look better,
It's true.
people treat you
Yeah.
better, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but this is how I like to put it also. There are different components to style, or different elements that make up the concept of style, right?
Okay.
And there's the physical aspect of it. The physical aspect of it expresses who you are, shows what you value, right? And um and just how you view yourself, right? And it
Yes.
attracts people to you, right? And basically positions you as something that should be appreciated, or if you're not dressing the part, or just seen, right? So if you look great, people are going to appreciate you, because naturally human beings love beautiful things. Heck, even God
Yes.
loves beautiful things. That's why the world is so beautiful, right? So
Yes. Yes.
when you look great, you attract people to yourself. You attract opportunities to yourself, right? And people want you in their space. People want you in their environment, because I mean, who doesn't want something beautiful in their environment, right? So that's the physical aspect of it. Now, the emotional aspect of style is that through your style, you can allow people to connect with you, right? And also through your style, you make yourself feel better, right? So
Yes.
emotionally, you're uplifted. You don't feel like there's something blocking your ability to connect with other people, because you feel your confidence. And that's
Yes.
that confidence that comes in because you feel you look great. So you're able to express yourself and not shy
Yes.
away from the attention, right? And
Yes.
it happens even to the best of us. When I don't feel like I dress pretty well, I want to
Yeah.
sit in the background. I don't want to show myself too
Yes.
much, right? But
Yes.
whenever I feel very well dressed, like I have done my job here, you almost,
Yes.
I don't know about other people, but yeah, the vain ones like us, you almost feel like I don't want to leave here if I haven't been seen, right?
Yeah.
But that is
That's
that
too
confidence.
funny.
That is that confidence seeping through. And
Yes.
it applies
True.
wherever you are, whether it's in a professional environment, whether it's in a social environment, or
Yeah.
whether it's even in a relationship setting. Professionally, when I know that when I dress good to the office that day, I want to be in every department. Whether it's architecture department, I want to make sure I drop off my designs, whether it's to make sure I drop off my billing
True.
at the marketing department. You feel confident and nothing is holding you down, right? You're not even holding yourself down.
Yeah.
But when the days that I wouldn't be so well dressed, or maybe I just threw on something, I could stay at my desk the whole day, right? Why? It's
Yes.
not that I lack confidence per se, it's that I don't feel my best. And so I may not want to be seen not looking my best, right? And
Yeah.
so that is that aspect for you. And then for others, right? By looking good. And I like to focus on the professional angle, just because this is where it really translates to your pocket, to your bank account, which translates to your future, right? So professionally, when you dress good, people want you in the meeting. People want you to represent the company, because they know that you make the company look good. But if you can't even put together a well coordinated, a well thought out look, then you may be very smart, but you may not be the person that they want representing the company at a meeting in Las Vegas or somewhere, just because they're worried you may wear that shoe that looks a little funny. And it's sad, but that is just life, right? It's all
I
about
keep on nodding. I keep on nodding because I agree with everything you're saying 1000%. And before I forget, this what you're saying now, I want to ask you a question. So please retain your train of thought. So what about with women who are not gifted with style? And I say this humbly and I say it respectfully because sometimes I don't want to, I'm not, you guys know I'm not judgmental, but sometimes when I look at some feeds of women that I love, and I'm not referring to anybody who's on here, so please don't feel I'm talking about you. And I see that the way they're presenting themselves is not their best look or the way they've put things together. How can those women know that they need to improve their style? Of course, I'm not going to message them and tell them that, never, unless they're, if it's my daughters or you people close to me, I would. But you have to be your authentic self. But what if there's people who you can tell that you love what they're doing, but the way they're presenting their look and their physical is not quite good and they need help? How do you help those kinds of people?
So I think that it comes with intentionality. You have to be intentional about things. You can't leave anything to chance. And this is something that a lot of women need to realize. And it is part of the reason that we created Style Rave, right? Because if with the hope that if someone is lacking in that aspect of life, that you know the inspiration, the looks that we curate can help guide them, right? And it's not that you have to wear the exact looks or look like the copy someone else's style. It's that it can inspire you to put together your own style in a way that
Okay.
serves you. Yes. So again, I think it comes with being intentional and being strategic with your style. And I think what women need to realize, the women who don't really, consider style a big part of their life, need to realize is that other than the fact that, yes, you look good when you dress good, style is a reflection of your self-awareness and your
Yeah,
thought process, right? And your thought process
that's true.
and how you basically go about things.
Yes.
Because when people see you and your looks are not it doesn't have to be magazine worthy
No,
or rave worthy.
no.
No, a simple white t-shirt on a pair of blue jeans with a white slippers
Yeah.
shows a lot of thought,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, she thought about matching the t-shirt to the slippers. And it tells me, if I'm seeing you immediately, that this is someone that is very aware of themselves, of their self, and this is someone who values how they're perceived, which tells me that you value a lot of other things in your life. So again,
That's true.
style is a way to express what you value, what matters, and that you do take things seriously. You can't walk around and be like, I'm a very thoughtful person, I'm detail oriented. You can't do that, but you can show that with your style, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't walk around and be and just start screaming, I'm very intentional, I'm focused, but you can do it with your style. So you can
Yes.
express yourself so much through style just by, just seeing, for instance, your lipstick, your pink lipstick or your fuchsia lipstick and your green top, I
Yeah.
feel energized just looking at you, and the
You.
earring, I feel energized. But if I came on
Thank you.
and your look was dull, immediately my spirit could come down, right? And this
That's it.
happens naturally,
That's
naturally.
what it is. It's the
Yes,
dullness.
exactly.
It's the
So
dullness.
yes,
Yeah.
human beings are very visual. And so when you realize this, it is important to incorporate it into your own self and, apply that to your style. It's just like when someone walks into your house, how organized your living room space, no matter how simple it looks, tells a lot about who you are. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
it
Yes.
tells a lot. And just the way your house
And
looks.
your car. You walk
Yes,
into some people's cars and you're like, is this a pigsty or what's going on here? There's
yes.
food, there's ketchup stains, there's stuff everywhere. Yes, yes.
It tells you so much more. And not just that, because when people think style, yes, most of the time we're talking about how you look, but style has a lot to do with more than fashion, with the clothes you wear. It has a lot to do with your hair, with your makeup, with how you live, your lifestyle, right? Your house, your office space, your car. So, you know, and I mean, it's very rare that I see someone who's fashionable and their office space is disorganized or, you know, scattered. Because if you're caring about how you look, there's a very high chance you're going to care about how your office space is. Because if I walk into someone's office when, you know, when I was in an office environment like that, and it's not organized, I don't really feel like I want them on my project, because I feel like the
Yes.
project is not going to be organized.
Me
I
too.
think, oh, this project is going to be all over the place, you know. And this is not just
Yeah.
me. This is everyone, and it's natural because human beings are very visual. You know, there's a reason why people love magazines. There's a reason why people love to go on vacation and be in hotel rooms, because everything is so organized and so, you know, beautiful. It's that wonderland or fancy kind of mindset, a dreamland, right? And
Yes.
so when you, and of course you don't have to be hotel perfect or magazine perfect, but showing thought in your style, in your carriage, in your living space and lifestyle tells a lot more than you being, you know, vain or wanting to look good. It tells a lot about what's going on psychologically.
I wish we had 2 hours here. Can you give me 10 more minutes, please, Elfonnie? Because I love, can you give me 10 more minutes, please? Because I still have a couple
Sure.
questions for you. But guys, this is why I love Elfonnie. This is why I love the people I bring on. I'm telling you, this video replay is going to be on my YouTube. You guys need to go back and listen to it. It's not about vanity. And I do want to put something out there for women that are on here. There's many of you that are on here that are working on brands, that are working on your passions and gifts and talents. We're not saying you should be overly vain. I'm not saying that. I've made some videos without makeup because I do want some women to see that I don't always look like. Sometimes I have a lot of gray hair, and there's this thing brush that I used to like like mute them down to brown. Sometimes I don't do that because I want people to see that. But generally you have to elevate and you have to show up because people are vain. So and you know my passion for wanting to help you guys. So if you are humble enough, whoever is on here elevating their brand, you should ask women that you view as stylish. I say this humbly, like myself or Elfonnie or any other woman you see that may be nice enough to help you critique your feed. I want you to have that humility because Elfonnie and I are here today because we're humble people and we've learned from so many people. I still learn from people. People still critique me and I take the criticism and I look at it but I want you women now that are trying to elevate your brand. Everything is digital now. Everybody is online because of COVID. There's so much you can do to elevate your online businesses, but you have to show up elevated.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be expensive. Your clothes can be from Walmart. Your makeup can be from Walmart. If I can take you to Walmart today and revamp your whole wardrobe for you. I know I haven't delved into fashion. I have too many things I'm doing. I'm not going to do that. Elfonnie can do that. But Elfonnie and I can take you to Walmart or wherever we can get $5, $10 clothes and makeup and completely. It's not about the expense, the cost, but it's about putting yourself together. So women,
the thought process,
because that's what's going to elevate your brand. You guys are so gifted. You have so much talent and so much gift, but like Elfonnie said, you know, you look at some people's feeds and it's kind of dull, you know, so anyway, we're talking about fashion and dressing for fashion and dressing for confidence and success today, so we can be a little bit vain. So I hope this is helping everybody. Now, Elfonnie, let me ask you, since we're all doing all these Instagram live and virtual meetings and Zoom meetings and all of that, can you give us a few tips on how to look good, like what we are doing? Because again, I see a lot of that. You and I are trying to look at the camera, and I had to practice that a few times, but many times I see people where they've placed their camera wrong and it looks like they're looking down, and then it makes them have a double chin, or they're looking up too much. And you know, so Give us some tips. No, all these things matter. I've practiced
Yeah,
so
they
many
do.
times.
They
I went
do.
to buy this. Yeah, it all matters. So give us some tips on how to look good for all these virtual meets.
Okay, so I like to quickly add to something you just said about the feed, right? So for some people, they just hearing feed, they may think, oh, it's just a feed. No, but the world has changed. Now our feed is an extension of who we are, an extension of our brand, an extension of
That's
how
a
people view
resume.
us, right?
It's like your resume.
Yeah,
It's like your CV. Your
your
feed is
unspoken
now your
resume.
CV. Yeah.
Yes. So your feed should reflect your personal brand, and if you have a business, your feed should, to some degree, reflect your business brand because, like I said, it's all about perception, right? Sometimes people would see your encounter you on Instagram. Let's say you have an open page, and without talking to you, they can make the decision on whether they want to work with you or not.
Yes.
Let's say
Yes.
you are I don't know, let's say you are a makeup artist, or let's say you're an accountant, and someone encounters your feed and you have it up there in your bio, CPA, available for personal tax and finance advisors, stuff like that, and I look through your feed, or someone looks through your feed, if I mean a majority of your content, and it's not about, I'm not even talking about positioning your content or making it fancy and organized because not everyone has time for that, but yourself, how you present yourself. If you're if majority of your pictures show you looking, you know, not well put together, it tells me a lot about what could be happening with your brand or the work that you'll do for me, right? But
Yeah.
if I see someone who's a CPA with the credentials listed and then they look good, they put themselves together, I'm going to say this is someone who takes themselves seriously and they're going to take my work seriously.
Yeah.
So your feed could literally you know, take opportunities from you, or you know, present more opportunities to you. So these things do matter because it's all about
They
perception.
do. They do.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody is saying we have to do this again. It's not enough time. Well, I'll have to come back maybe around the holidays. We can
Sure,
do
sure.
another something else on fashion because this is so important, though. It's going to help people with their branding and with their elevation. So for now, guys, since we can't do this for too long, just go to stylrave.com, go to @stylrave. So I hope you guys know how to find
Yes.
Elfonnie. It's going to be, once I finish this, I'm going to have something on my page, but stylrave.com, @stylrave with the underscore after the stylrave. And you can at least see examples. But
Yes.
you know what? You know that I like to do a lot of things for free for women. If you want me to critique your feed, I'll critique it for you. In fact, if you send it to me, I'll critique it. And I'll ask my dear friend Elfonnie if she can do a quick 1 minute
Sure.
critique and send it to me. But
Absolutely.
we want you to elevate. We're trying, all these shows that I'm doing are to help women elevate and to be the best that they can be. So this is so important. So I'm going to read some of the comments and the questions now. They're saying that they really love this session. They want us to do it again. Somebody said, Shobi Duda said, I feature women in tech and I go on their feed and all I see is code and computers and whiteboards. Very difficult to find a good picture that shows their brand and who they are personally. Yeah, and we do want to say, well, I want to say, and I'm sure Elfonnie agrees, this is not about size. You can be a size 20 or 22 and still show up. So
Yes.
women, please, yes. So it's not, and if you go to Style Rave feed, that's one thing I love about her feed. She also has fashionable women in any size, from size 0 to size 20 something. So, and even if you're a size 20 something, that's who you are. So on your feed, you don't only have to have pictures of your face. Show your,
Yes.
you know, that I see that a lot. And for me, it shows a lack of confidence.
Yes.
I'm a very intuitive person, and I know other people see that. But if your whole entire feed only has your face there, it's obvious to whoever is looking that you lack body confidence.
Confidence.
And that's key. That is key. So no matter what size you are, you can dress appropriately for your size. That's if you're interested in elevating your brand. You may not be interested in elevating, that's fine. But if you're interested yeah, if you're interested in attracting opportunities to yourself, whether you're a size 22 or 24, there's many clothes that will look fabulous on you. Have some pictures on your feed of you in full length or at least 3/4 length.
Yes,
Yes, it's
I
right,
agree with
Elfonnie?
you. Yes, I agree with you. And then going back to your question about how to look good for video sessions or Zoom meetings
Yes,
in a new virtual world, because we're going to be doing this for much longer than we would all like, right?
yes.
So for Zoom meetings, I would say it all depends on the scenario. Is it a professional setting? Is it a social setting? Or, I think some people may be doing Zoom dates now, or maybe video dates. I don't know. But you have to dress just like in real life. You have to dress for the occasion. And so I would say for Zoom meetings, focusing on the professional angle, that you want to look like you're going to the office but toned down by about 10 to 20%.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then it all depends on who you're meeting. So if you're meeting with people in your team, so people that are at your level, let's
Yeah.
say you're part of an engineering design team, a shirt will do, a work shirt. So
Okay.
this is not the time to wear your fancy blouse or the t-shirt that
Yeah.
the t-shirt that you haven't ironed. You still want to dress like you're in the office. Why? It's psychological, because when
Yes.
people see you dressed up that way, they're like, oh, she's so serious about her job. She dresses well, she shows up. It's almost like we're in the office, right? And especially now that a lot of companies are laying off, it is more important than ever
Yeah.
before to dress the part. So it's one thing to be smart, it's another thing to be a good reflection of your brand and the company that you represent. So you want to always
That's
look your
true.
best, put in to back up the efforts that you put in, right? So that you're coming at them at all angles, well, branded. So look good, dress like you're going to the office, just bring it out a little bit, right? Of course, if I'm going for an office meeting, I wouldn't do red lipstick. I may do a light pink, right?
Yes.
So just for the occasion. But if I'm going for a friend's bridal shower on Zoom,
Yes.
of course I'll bring on the red lipstick to make her
Yes.
happy and look.
Yes.
You
Today
know,
we're talking about fashion, and so we're all, yeah. Yes.
exactly. So so you got to dress the part still. Another thing is
Okay.
be very intentional as usual about how you're dressing for your Zoom meetings. So for instance, let's say you're wearing a shirt. Don't decide that because of the Zoom meeting and everybody's just seeing from the top that you're going to wear shorts with it, right? So
No.
because anything can happen. Let's
Yes.
say they need a document or something you had worked on and you left it somewhere else and you need to get up and go get it. Okay, I'm a part-time comedian.
You just say no, I'm sorry, I can't get it today, or you have to yell your child's name to come and get it.
It would totally change what was a professional scenario into something else, because it's either you're not going to get up, or you're going to have to be like, okay, or log out and suddenly you look unprofessional, or I know things happen, but these are the kind of things you have to be intentional and very strategic about your life. And this includes your style, right? And so things like that you have to avoid. Shorts, maybe extra tight leggings, that if you got up, would have your derriere showing so much. Or you don't want to do a tank top or a sheer top on a Zoom meeting, no matter how nice it looks, because again, it's perception, it's psychological. People are looking at that and thinking, oh, which Zara are we talking about? Oh, Zara that likes to show her boobs, So these are comments that people make behind the scenes, even in professional
That's true.
settings, and it becomes a part of your personal brand, because then you're viewed as, no matter how smart you are, right? So you have to be intentional. Always present yourself in a way that shows that you're very focused on what you're doing. You're an asset to the company. You're an asset in all areas. You understand?
Wow.
So I think that's how to think about it. Get your makeup done, and even if you don't want to do your makeup for professional settings, but just get your hair together. Make sure your lips are not looking dry if you've not been drinking enough water. Yeah. So these things do matter because they're a reflection of you.
Yes. Wow, Elfonnie, there are two questions I want you to answer. Izem
Sure.
asked that, and this is important. One may be dealing with a physical impairment or disability that affects the way you look. How do you deal with that?
So what I would say in a scenario like that is to focus on your best parts and your assets, right? So for instance, some people will tell you that their arms are too big, or they don't like how their arms look in sleeveless tops, right? And if you feel like you just don't want to show that part of your body, right, then you wear things that cover that. And then if you have, let's say you have beautiful legs, then you may be the girl who likes to wear skirts, midi skirts, or maxi skirts with a slit to work, because now people are focusing on your beautiful legs, not in a bad way, right? So the goal is always to dress in a way that minimizes your flaws, remembering that every one of us has flaws. Nobody has a perfect body, even
No.
those who've been to the doctor, right? It's never
Yeah.
perfect. So you dress in a way that minimizes your flaws, or what you may not consider an asset, to on your body. Or I'm trying to think of what physical impairment somebody may have that let's say you're a woman who's had a number of babies, or even one baby, and then your stomach is just not agreeing with you by going back in. Then you may want to invest in tops that are free, in peplum tops, right? You may want to invest in what are high-waisted pants, because those tend to bring in your stomach, right? So you just have
Yes.
to get creative, because you'll be surprised to know that some of the biggest celebrities, some of the most popular fashion influencers, they all have flaws, right? But what they've done is master their body and learn to dress for their body. So you have to know what kind of body type do I have? What is my impairment in situations where you have some kind of impairment? How do I best dress for it in a way that still allows me to feel confident, allows me to feel good about myself, and presents me as such to the world? So it's about being intentional. And I was going to say quickly, so let's say you go on starrave.com and you have an interview. You can quickly Google how to dress for a Zoom interview or Zoom
Oh,
interview, and you'll
oh,
find such
okay.
content. Yes, we
Oh,
have
good.
articles that show plus size women, the best outfits for plus size women, the best
Oh,
outfits if you have a pear shape, the best
oh.
outfits if you have an
So, guys, you
African.
see now,
Yeah.
Elfonnie has solved all your questions. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, yes, we
Okay.
have all
Is
the
there
stuff for
any is there any
nutrition.
for big arms? Any for
But
arms that say bye bye?
first of
any
all,
for any for the waving arms? Oh my
first of
goodness.
all, I would say, and I know that for a lot of people who may have, a little bit of sag in their arm, that, they're doing their best and trying to exercise, and sometimes it's just not working.
It
So I
doesn't
understand.
work. I've
Yeah,
done everything. It doesn't work. It doesn't tone it.
exactly. But the best thing about it is that it doesn't affect your confidence. You're even
No.
laughing about it. But what some
Yeah.
people do is they now decide to withdraw, and
Oh
just
no.
think
I
that
just
they're
wear
not.
clothes. I know the clothes I pick out for myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So, if you want to wear clothes that cover that arm so that it's not a concern for you, you're not constantly looking to see if it's, shaking when you're outside.
Yeah.
You dress for the occasion, but
Yes.
remembering what will look best on your body based on your flaws. So
Let me
I think that's
ask you a
pretty
quick
good.
specific one. What if the person has a weakness in an arm? What if they have maybe like weakness in one arm? What kind of clothes could they wear for that?
Okay, so when you say weakness, you mean like the
They,
arm is limp?
yeah, it's limp. They can't really move it. It's like they can't do what we're doing. So one arm is limp. What can they wear?
Okay, so I would say wear blouses or dresses that have movement in them. So these are what do you call it? Sleeves that have either pleats or are ruffled or are
Oh,
voluminous. They have volume, because that
okay.
creates the motion. Because even if you're just kind of like moving a little bit, that moves for you. So
Ah,
you're replacing what may be your impairment with through the clothes you choose to wear. So you get
okay.
clothes that have some motion.
And then something a little bit fitted on the bottom though, so that you don't
Exactly.
look, yeah, too big. So So
Yes,
kind of like a top with big sleeves on the top, and then maybe more
yes,
like a pencil skirt.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
To
Okay.
create that balance, because it's
Yes,
all about making sure that you're not looking top heavy, bottom heavy, so you don't end up
yes,
looking like say, and I say this in a humble way, like a
yes,
watermelon all rounded.
yes.
So if you're doing top heavy, then you want to wear something skinny on the bottom, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. If your bottom is flowy and more volume down there, then you want to keep your top tailored so that you still look well coordinated.
Okay, wonderful. So, what I want to say is we're about to be done. I want to thank you. There's one question that I want us to address real quick, but just in case I cut us off, because I don't want Instagram to cut us off, I want to save this.
Sure.
This video is like gold for everybody. So thank you, Elfonnie. I'm going to have to bring you back around the holidays. I'll make sure I give you enough notice to put me on your calendar because
Sure.
women are loving this. You should see all the comments. They're loving it. But Olaomi has been
I'm sorry,
commenting a lot.
Simidele. Can I
Yes,
apologize to
Simidele.
Simidele? Simidele says watermelon, that hurts. I meant that in a good way. I was trying to use a fruit
She's just
to
joking.
say
No,
so that you.
no.
I know.
Don't apologize to her. Simi is just joking. Simi, stop it. Okay, guys, if Instagram cuts off us off, Simi. So Olaomi said, how do you get your friends and your social circle to embrace your new journey? Do you change your social circle? My answer to her is, if your social circle doesn't embrace your new journey, change your social circle. No, honestly, because your friends should love what you're doing. They should be happy for you. They should be rejoicing for you. So if they don't embrace your journey, that shouldn't affect you at all. If they're not wishing you well or they're not supporting you, then you may want to move to a supportive social circle. That's my answer. Elfonnie, you have 30 seconds to answer real quick, and then I'm going to end so I can save this.
Okay, sure. So quickly, if expect that when you start anything new, you may have friends that don't support, or even family members that may not support, but you have a lot of supportive ones, right? The goal is to focus on your focus. So what's your focus? Because if you keep focusing on who's supporting you and who's not supporting you, you're going to lose focus on what really matters.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Focus on your focus, and those who matter and those who care about you truly will stay with you along the journey. And even if they don't stay with you, you're going to find that you build a whole new network of people who are passionate about the same thing that you're passionate about, because now you're in a new industry. But like I said, you focus on your focus, you find time to still relate, but don't be surprised if you lose friends.
We love you, Elfonnie. You should see all the comments. Everybody loves you. Thank you so much. Everybody, once you log off, go to stylerave.com and elevate your fashion sense. Dress for confidence and success, guys. Stylerave.com. Just go there right now. Thank you, Elfonnie. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining in. See you next time on Teatime with Dr. Iyabo. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.